Alright guys, welcome to another action figure review. Today I will be reviewing the Marvel Legends Absolute Carnage. These are the two figures I've been the most excited for, that have caught my eye the most. The new mold, Absolute Carnage, the Carnage head sculpt. So much to talk about. I will be reviewing Venom tomorrow, hopefully. I've been looking forward to him the most, so we'll just put that to the side for now, and we'll take a closer look at the Carnage box. So it comes with the standard Venom deco. I do really like that they label the Venom figures and the Venom waves and even the Agent Anti-Venom in this very cool white decoed box. You get Marvel's Venom and Carnage. The Absolute Carnage art on the side. If you would like to read that, I would suggest that you pause it now. There's the look at the back of the box. So far, I've reviewed the Morbius figure, which was already a super good action figure, and I am hoping to pick up my orders for Phage, Miles, and Gwenom maybe next week. I'm not sure when it's coming in. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. Let's take a look at these incredible head sculpts. Here's the Absolute Carnage head sculpt. Now, I'll be honest, I am catching up on my Symbiote comic books right now. I have been behind. I haven't been reading as much the last few years, so I'm not quite caught up. It's really hard to catch up on the Venomverse and the Spider-Verse at the same time, but I'm going to do my best. So here is the Carnage head sculpt. This is the Absolute Carnage, and oh my goodness, it is a beauty. You have this textured black throughout all of the head, like at least on the top, right? You kind of got that Carnage deco. You have the nice, I always call it the bullseye design because that's what it looks like to me, but I think that's the Absolute Carnage design right on the forehead that kind of molds really nicely, and you get this like black jaw that kind of fades into red. Now, there is a dash of red. It doesn't really bug me, but I believe that is a paint application problem. Not a huge deal. The eyes are very well painted, and again, it doesn't look like there's any black filling into those white spots, which is just super important, and it's a very, very clean head sculpt. Now we get over to the standard Carnage head sculpt. Also very impressive. You get the much wider eyes, which is kind of like the comic book I grew up with, the Maximum Carnage looking one. You get the kind of orange tongue on the inside, and let me bring a light a little bit closer, and that black deco over it. It's very, very clean. They made sure that the eyes were almost unscathed. There's a little bit of a defection, not even a defection, it's just a little bit of, could even be like rubbing from the package. There's a white blemish on the top of the head, but almost completely unnoticeable. It's very well crafted, and it feels amazing in hand. Now, on to the final accessory, the back piece. I actually do really like this back piece. I like it a lot more than the older back pieces, which I did have on me a second ago, but I guess I'll just compare at the end. This back piece is textured, so it's kind of like an extra part of his back. It just easily ports into his back, and you get these tentacles coming off that are a lot more, designed and symbiote-like, which I really appreciate. It gives it a great effect to the figure, and you don't need it on the figure at all times. So without further ado, let's go talk about the action figure. After only a few minutes of toying around with this Carnage is the definitive Carnage in my collection. It gave me a flashback to when I was really young, probably the early or late 2000s, like 2008, 2009, when the Spider-Man Hasbro figures were repainting Marvel Legends and releasing them, and I got to get that really cool Carnage figure. That's what this reminds me of. It's just such an incredibly made figure that it makes me so excited to see. Okay, so as I've already talked about the head sculpt, let's just jump right into the deco on the body, which is so impressive. You can see it from here. Every little black squidge mark is all squidge mark, trademark pending. It's all painted and like designed onto it. It's molded onto the body, and it feels so good. Not only that, it looks amazing, and it really stands out when you're in person. You can see that there's that texture and that design. It's not like somebody just slapped some paint on, which is kind of what the Bucky cap mold Carnage did, which kind of disappointed everyone. Now you get these symbiote tentacles coming off at a lot of part of his body. What I like about this is that they don't actually make it identical on both arms, because it's supposed to be like a flowing living thing. So you get these flowing living pieces. So no piece on it is the same. The legs are similar, but again, they're not the same. They cross a little bit differently, they click together, and they don't come from the same place. I really do like that. They truly understand the symbiote. It's not like some repetitive thing. It's a living creature on a man. You get these amazing claws, which are I really like them because it's not like that neat, perfect black. It's like it also wraps around the hands. It's like those traces of Venom onto the Carnage, because the Carnage is obviously the child of Venom. This amazing deco and this body mold, man. This body mold is incredible. It's so well made. It's just the perfect figure. It captures that like lengthy Cletus Cassidy look with this super, super suit added onto him. I'm so absolutely thrilled, and the feet look great too, also textured on. The only part where it really stops texturing is on the bottom. You get those textured feet, and the cool thing about these feet too is that you get the toes, which I always find kind of funny, but I do like it. I don't know, like I'm almost speechless that I can't even do this review. The body mold, I mean, I haven't even talked about the articulation. Let me tell you, it's incredible. And the deco and sculpting, the paint applications are perfect. And now to talk about this back piece, when it ports on it, it looks a little awkward from some angles, but overall it looks totally fine and blends in perfectly. And if you want to pop it off, that's no problem because they did the deco. Now the gaping hole is a little bit annoying, but again, it kind of happens with Marvel Legends figures. You just get used to it. It's not really a problem for me. But without further ado, I could talk about this figure's sculpt, deco, and design for hours, but I really want to get into the articulation, which is also incredible. So let's jump to the articulation. The articulation on this incredible Carnage action figure is as follows. The head can look up as much as you'd like it to, and it is on a ball joint, so none of that new head articulation. It can look down quite a bit. You get this motion, which it gives it good range. You can it does have that head tilt, head pivot, a little bit of it. Not fantastic, but not a huge problem. It obviously 360s, and there's just a ton of range on this head, so that's really good to see. The shoulders, they have the butterfly joints, which are amazing and very good for range. It's kind of like a Spider-Man figure, but it's built a little bit like the articulation of an older Spider-Man figure, like the 2099, just a little bit different. Double jointed elbows. There is a bicep cut or swivel, however you'd like to call it. The hands can articulate inward, both sides. There's no shooting hands on these, which makes sense because he's not shooting anything. The articulation in the abs is amazing. You get incredible range. I'm a little happy that they didn't use the vintage. You don't get much click back. I know people wanted to see that vintage cut from the Spider-Man, like right here, that torso swivel, but I'm a little bit glad that we didn't get that. You get 360 motion at the hips. You get leg cut or leg swivel. Your leg can kick up this much. It can kick back that much, and
stopped by the Carnage booty.
The legs can kick out that much. And if you want to, you can get them in like very dynamic poses, kicking up extremely high. Double jointed knees. I hope that I said elbows this time. I always seem to mess up knees and elbows, but it's fine. You get that nice little lower boot cut. The feet articulate up. I would like them to go up a little bit more just for that range. They do have pivot, but it's a little resistant on my figure. It might just be an issue with my figure. It might be a little stiff. I'm not going to force it, and they can go all the way down that foot. So I know the question on everybody's mind is the 2018 accessories fit on the new Carnage figure, or the 2018 Carnage? And I can say they do. Now, if the angle can look pretty good for the Cletus Cassidy figure's head sculpt, but overall I'd steer clear. It just doesn't look amazing, and you really want to get some dynamic looking. They're good for a few poses, but overall the head doesn't work great on it. Don't force it in, but the axe can absolutely fit in there. It does look a little weird though, because you get two completely different reds and no black deco, which is sad. Same with this hand. It fits, but I'm not loving it. I'm probably only going to use this effect just because it's such polar. These are very different reds. As you can see, it really shows up on camera. You can pull it off definitely for some poses, but if I were to do this like a lot, I would probably need somebody to custom it out for me and just put some black doodles on it. So yeah, that's what it looks like with the swappable accessories from the Cletus Cassidy figure. All right, so my final verdict on this figure is it is absolutely incredible. An amazing mold, fantastic articulation, the deco is insane, the design is amazing. It could possibly be the best Carnage figure on this scale, and that is why I am giving it a perfect 10 out of 10. Every need I wanted was met. Maybe a few more accessories, but I can't complain because there's nothing to complain about this action figure. I can't stop bragging about it. It is amazing. And if you get the chance, I would highly suggest pick up one of these figures before they're gone, because I can guarantee they will not be peg warming. Here is the last Carnage release, the Monster Venom wave, next to the Carnage from this wave, the VenomPool wave, and I mean, you can see the clear difference. I think this figure is a little bit shorter. I really don't care though. Here's the Bucky Cap mold. I was so impressed when this figure came out. Like, I absolutely loved it. I got tons of toy photography with it, and I just remember using it all the time. Look how much progress was made in just 2 years. Look at that. This figure looks nothing compared to this figure. Like, honestly, it's still a great figure, but it is absolutely nothing compared to the accuracy, design, and just absolute prestige. I'm getting into the big words of this figure. Here is the brand new Carnage next to the vintage Spider-Man, and I gotta say, I am so excited to be posing these guys together and taking photos. That is just this is like an amazing Spider-Man action figure. And now that I have this Carnage figure, it just makes my heart so full. I'm so very excited to get these pictures for you guys. I'm not sure if I might wait until tomorrow when I open my Venom figure, so I can take all the photos together and just get the best possible photos that I can, like very maximum Carnage style. But so if this video is 2 days after the Morbius, you know why. Here's Carnage next to the Pizza Spider-Man body mold Black Suit Spider-Man. This Black Suit Spider-Man is not from the Sandman wave. It is actually from Kraven the Last Hunt. Now, quick comment on this figure. Although I do like this figure a lot, I always thought that they could have done a little bit better on the Black Suit Spider-Man. And now with the prospect, every video I'm going to basically ask for this. Now with the prospect of this amazing body mold, I was wondering, Hasbro, could you maybe make this happen? You know what I'm saying? But I'm still nonetheless very grateful that I got. Here's Cletus Cassidy Carnage next to the Anti-Venom figures. I totally lost all the guns for the Flash Thompson Anti-Venom, but it's fine. They're pretty replaceable, and I usually like to use different guns. I really love this figure on the right. I still remember buying it. I don't want a replacement for that remotely. Like, I'm so happy with that Anti-Venom. I know they're probably going to make a monster Anti-Venom with that same mold again, but I'm totally fine with that Anti-Venom. That is one of my favorite symbiote figures, or non-symbiote figures, however you want to say that, with the Anti-Venom suit. Now, here's the new Carnage next to the Poison Spider-Man. The reason I think these two figures side by side is so cool is because I don't know if anybody read the Venomverse comics. I did, and I know I'm talking a lot in this video. I've just really been enjoying this action figure. But Poison Spider-Man is kind of like the final evolution of the symbiote and is pretty evil and taken over. And Carnage is kind of the secret weapon to the Poisons. And I just think it's going to be so cool, the action figure photography. That's about as lethal protectory as I can get it at the moment. I did throw the old Toxin in there, although that, I mean, come on, that looks nothing like Toxin. I do have the new Monster Toxin. I will be reviewing that soon, so look for that on my channel. I always use that as kind of like a Carnage USA, like, Carnage figure, or even a spawned Carnage. But yeah, this is, so the figures next to Carnage are Scream, Venom, Lasher, and Toxin.